you say?
A new world order.
New world order.
A new world order.
The new world order.
A new world order.
A new world order.
The new world order.
New world order. That order and progress can only come when individuals surrender their rights to an all-powerful sovereign.
When we are successful, and we will be, we have a real chance at this new world order.
Yo, what is up? It's your boy Drew. Checking out that Drew World Order Live 2025. We out here. It's the summer of Drew. I'm all you guys got left, man. 12 Boy Earth left you. Enslaved by Truth left you. Days of Noah even left you. You guys are trapped in my proverbial basement, and you have Stockholm syndrome. You're stuck here with me. Time for me to grind, bro. Last man standing theory. Good to see you all. Thanks for being here. This is a stream I've wanted to do for a while, and then Days of Noah dropped a huge documentary about the entire history of schooling and everything. Went into the AI teaching that we're gonna get into a little bit tonight, and I was like, man, this dude just shit in my breakfast. This is what I was going to do. But I can't even compete with that dude, his level of preparation and everything. My style is totally different. So you missed it, go to the Days of Noah channel, watch his little documentary he did. It goes through everything about it. I got you in here with the clickbait cover. The female teachers sleeping with the students. It's literally an epidemic. Now I'm not able to put my face up here. It's going to look like I'm one of these creeper teachers. These mugshots here. I know you guys see these stories fairly often. These stories are hitting the internet. A new teacher sleeping with it's almost always these female teachers sleeping with male students. And it's not that the other one doesn't happen. I think it's just more sensationalized by the media. This may be happening actually more. The other ones, also not publicized. We'll kind of get into that tonight. EBT says, I just left to get a pack of cigarettes, kids. I promise I'll be back. You left us, man. We were worried sick about you, mister. Yeah, bro, this has become like an epidemic here. Let's turn on my whoops. Put my screen on here. There we go. Teachers texting students is now an epidemic. And this is how it starts, bro. There's these private messaging apps. Students are vulnerable. The teachers are in a position of power. The teachers are grooming them. And it's all women are especially susceptible to social media and everything. You see them on Facebook. They're always trying to reconnect with old lovers, and probably I'm sure all these social medias are causing tons of divorce. It seems women are really into that social aspect, and they have a hard time not stepping over the boundaries stuff. My headphones are already plugged in. I'm a real boy streamer here tonight. Make sure you hit that thumbs up and let's go. We're out here, man. We're going to start with this and we'll get into some other stuff. It's not just all about sex crime teachers.
Snapchat, Twitter, texting, or whatever your kids are into now, it can be the perfect gateway to inappropriate conversations between students and teachers. And experts say it's become a national epidemic. Our Alani Latang talked with a school administrator and parent about the problem.
The biggest single driver that we've seen of the explosion of inappropriate teacher-student relationships is the presence of private, secret messaging between teachers and students.
Yeah, that's just it. These kids are impressionable.
Chuck?
Yo, Chuck's got me. I'm about to have 7, bro. This guy's parent of 9. Holy crap. Yo, shout out to Chuck here. Dr. Dave's Pinball Restoration in the chat says, sign of the times. Do as thou wilt stuff. That's another thumbnail I have in my mind that I want to make. I want to say, do what thou wilt, and have on the left side of the thumbnail, Aleister Crowley's in the clouds or whatever. and on the ground it's like maybe humans rioting or whatever. And then on the other side, it's stormy on that side, and then on the other side it's clear and it says thou wilt be done. So it's do as thou wilt versus thou wilt be done. And then on that side you have like Jesus in the cloud and like people praying or something good happening on the right side. So that's actually another stream I want to get into, kind of percolating it in my head. So thanks for mentioning that. That's your spoiler, your preview.
Houghton is a father of 9. 6 are in school. He tells me, although not all teachers have the same mindset, digital communication could pave the way to racy behavior.
The teachers are authority figures, and if the texting goes
It said racy, and they showed a black girl. What's up with that?
on to a point where parents or other authorities aren't aware of it, then they could get into these impressionable kids' heads and take advantage of them.
This is what the former U.S.
That guy knows exactly what's up. These children are impressionable, and these are people in authority positions over them.
Chief of Staff for the Department of Education calls preying on the vulnerable.
I think of these folks who do this kind of thing as classroom predators.
Houghton says trust is important in his home. So for his 7th and 9th graders, phone checks are expected.
Let them know that we're going to look through their texts and things like that. We trust our kids quite a bit, so we don't do that a lot. But a lot of it is we just watch their behavior. We look for things that are changing, and if there's things that are changing, we start asking questions.
Currently, there is no law in Michigan that teachers cannot digitally communicate with students.
Navigating those boundaries is tough.
That's why there's apps like Remind, an app that allows teachers and students to text and their contact information is hidden. Each classroom must sign up, and a third party can be included in the communication thread.
My wife and I can be subscribed to the same Remind app for a classroom or for a teacher, and we get those texts.
Kyle Garant, Michigan's deputy superintendent, tells me how digital communication is handled is left up to each school district.
While we don't have many districts that have reached out to us to ask us for guidance or support on navigating electronic communication.
Yo, this principal here operated under admiralty law, bro. These students are in corporal punishment right here. Maritime law, in fact.
Communications between students and staff. We know it's something that schools pay attention to.
And that was Alani Latang reporting. If you suspect or witness any suspicious behavior, you are encouraged to report it to your school, or you can submit a tip anonymously on the state's OK to Say website.
Man, and I know you guys have seen these stories, and we're going to get into them here in 1 second while people are still rolling in here. Make sure you hit that thumbs up. The ones I see, bro, they get a slap on the wrist. When I was in high school, we had this happen in my school, but it was a male teacher. Funny enough, his name was Mr. Poppy. So Mr. Poppy taught math, different levels of math. And I was really good at math until I got to like geometry. For some reason, like my mind could do the math, but once it went into like the abstract shapes, I had a hard time with it. And Mr. Poppy was kind of this younger dude, and he could connect with me, man. I could ask him, hey, he showed me this, and he was able to like make it make sense to me. And so I struggled with the class, but because of him, I think I was getting like a B, which was good for me. I wasn't getting good grades at all, and he just was able to connect and understand and explain it to me. And then he got caught. He was like the girls' basketball teacher, and he got caught. There was this girl that would follow him around like a retarded puppy dog throughout the whole school. So everyone figured it out. I think all the students knew for a while. Like we all kind of knew what was up. And then eventually the school must have caught wind of it or whatever, and he was just gone one day. So I'm not sure if he ever got any kind of disciplinary action for that or whatever, or if they just shuffled him to another school or whatever. But for me personally, like they brought this woman teacher in, and she couldn't like connect with me or explain it to me. I may have even failed. I think I failed that class. I went from like a B to like failing the class because like this person couldn't really explain it. I don't know what it was about my mind at the time. Like I couldn't connect into the abstract like geometry and all that. It was weird. Probably because I started smoking weed at that time. That might have had a little bit to do with it. But there's an article here if there's gender bias when they sentence the female student or the female teachers that have sex with the male students. And even on these stories, you'll see some of them sleep with other female students. They're like lesbians. And yeah, they definitely get the pussy pass if you see the the sentencing, it's like a slap on the wrist. Where if these guys did it, the public sentiment would want their head and to chop them down and everything. And here these women don't get nothing. This is specifically for North Carolina. There's an article talking about this happening in North Carolina. A 73-year-old teacher was accused of having sexual relations with a 17-year-old student. Oh, look at this one. A lot of them, they try to show you this like cute little young teacher. You know who was hitting this one. You know who was hitting this one. He played on the basketball team. I guarantee it. Yo. Some student hit that, bro. You know how bad that dude got teased? You know how bad this kid got teased for diving in that? 17-year-old was smashing that, it says. See, look at. Oh, they said different ones, but I thought those were more teachers. Here's another one. Last summer, this is, who knows how this article is, but another one, a 33-year-old teacher, felonies with a student and participating in sex. And that looked like Jeff Snyder in a wig. Is that Jeff Snyder right there? Former North Carolina teacher and coach. See, they're the coaches and shit because they're drawn to that. Just like the crazy people are drawn to the psychology or whatever, right? Like they want you to come in and talk. They're drawn, like the psychologists, I think they're drawn to it because they're crazy and they want to know why they're crazy. And then they get all these other impressionable minds with them and they can help like, well, oh yeah, you're gender confused and all this crazy. And the same type of dynamic I think is happening with the teachers where these super batshit crazy or extreme liberals are drawn to these teaching positions. May subconsciously or unbeknownst to them, they want to groom an entire next generation with the woke mind virus. They're infected with the woke mind virus. I don't think they're actively thinking, oh, I need to go infect woke mind virus or it's never going to exist. It'll just breed itself out in one generation. They're not thinking that. It's just something that takes over them like a demon or something, right? At least that's what I think. Beholder says, where's the story of the teach who had a group of boys run a train on her for some drugs? I bet it's in here. I don't specifically have any up. I'm just going to pull some randomly up because there's just so many of them. When I looked for the mugshots for the thumbnail, you just hit mugshots images, bro. Each one's a story. There's like hundreds and hundreds of them. But right here, are female teachers less likely to have sex with students? Statistically speaking, male teachers are more likely to get longer jail terms for having sexual relationships with students. It was a 2013 study by New Jersey that concluded male teachers receive harsher legal punishments in teacher-student sex crimes compared to female teachers. There is an apparent gender bias in the sentencing of teachers who engage in sexual relationships with underage students. Traditionally, females have been perceived as more vulnerable to emotional and physical harm resulting in sex. Historically, statutory rape laws were written to protect females from male predators and abusers. It's also true that male teachers are more likely to have sex with underage students, according to Center for the Offenders Management. I don't know if I can even, can we say these things on the stream? I already have. So female aggressors account for only around 10% of all these crimes reported. At the same time, females account for 30% of all teacher-student offenses reported to authorities. Do teachers face less stringent penalties for these types of crimes? In many cases, female teachers seem to get a slap on the wrist compared to the substantial jail time male teachers get for engaging in these relationships with an underage female student. Bizarrely, one criminal defense attorney has famously said that his female client was too pretty to go to jail to help her avoid jail time. I clicked this one and it brings up this lady. Let's see. Deborah LaFavre or something. We'll see her in a minute. I have her link up. And then blah, blah, blah. Yeah, you should help. Call and snitch on your teacher if they're doing this to you, it says. I guess let's get into that Deborah LaFavre or whatever her name. Where is it? This is her. This is one of the top. Whenever the teacher is like more attractive, the media will pick up on it more and push it out. And I think a lot of this is like propaganda, not necessarily that it's not real and that it's not happening. I do believe a lot of this is happening. But I think one of these things is because it gets clicks, right? You see this face, and then all the guys are like, "Oh, I wish that was my teacher. I wish my teacher did that to me when I was 15 or whatever." What's up, Monsoon? Are you talking shit, Monsoon? Just reading an article, bro. It's a whole stream, bro. That's one part of the stream. I think what's happening is, like they say, if it leads, it bleeds. It's the same type of thing, though, with the salacious sensationalism. They need a beautiful face to get the clicks on the articles, and then I think overall what's happening is in a larger grand scheme of things is this is part of the agenda to normalize pedophilia. So if it was constantly pushing male teachers were doing this and showing their face and everything, it would repulse society and people would be outraged. But when they show this, it's kind of like, oh, you show your buddy at work or something, like, oh, look at this. I wish this was my teacher. Look at this. Like, and it's like, oh, what's wrong with these women? There's this little conversation to be had. Like, oh, this chick could get any guy. Why is she doing this? Sleeping with a 15 or whatever it is, So I think that's part of it is the slow normalization of those types of acts with children. So it starts here. It starts here where all the guys or whoever are going to be like, oh, that's cool. And then eventually you can push it further and further, like the story hour. Drag queen story hour. That's what I'm talking about. But yeah, this was the lady, Lefevre, whatever. He wanted it, I gave it to him. It's just like over the top. She used to be a respected 8th grade teacher. Now she's a registered sex offender. And did you see that on the right here on her Wikipedia up here? Nasty work, dude. On her Wikipedia, it says American rapist. Do I gotta? Am I able to say these things? I don't know why I'm second guessing myself. I'm saying them anyway. Her Wikipedia says American rapist. Nasty work. Watch out, Archaics. When you get a Wikipedia, this is setting the precedent here. But there's an entire when I went to the hold on, where is it? Sorry, I got so many tabs up here. I don't have them in order. I'll pull it up in a second, but here's one. Especially when you get to the Daily Mail, I was looking at a couple of these on the Daily Mail, because these are the ones, somehow the Daily Mail gets pushed to my phone a lot, my Google News or whatever. And these are the ones, these almost read like a erotic novella or something when they go through like explicit details on here. And I think that's another big part of this is it's almost like pornographic, and you live in such a pornographic society that that this becomes so mainstream, and then the people want to read about it and read the details, and like, again, just normalizing this. This is predatory behavior. And you can say like, you can make the argument that, well, it wouldn't hurt boys as much as girls and stuff like that. It maybe to a point, but I think anything that's gonna be bad for the kids and interfere with their ability to have like a trusting relationship later in life or whatever, they may no longer trust women or think all types of women act like that. And it's got to all lead to, if you want a strong society, it's got to all lead to these younger people being led into like bonds of marriage and families and children. So you might think it's like fun for a boy or whatever, but if it messes with his ability to trust someone and stuff in the long term, it's still doing damage, maybe differently than it would be to a younger female. But if you get into these, yeah, this is just another. You drop the mug shot. It gets like into really lewd details. The teacher's 34 fifth grade teacher met her alleged victim when she taught him and his brother at middle school, elementary, bro. I won't even go over some of the details here. Sick, bro. Read it yourself. Sick. But it gets like into way like, maybe not this one here, but there's another one. Gets into like, it's almost like those old, like the old Penthouse magazine, whatever letters or whatever they talk about. Brittany Zamora, new teacher, they become like little micro celebrities. Like, yo, we know you clicked this article you saw her before, now she's got a new look. Check it out. Yeah, Beholder says nasty work. Southern, she used to be a teacher. I don't know if she still is or not. Southern's in the chat, says crazy teacher shit happening right now I've seen. Maybe just popping up in my timeline because I'm true criming right now. But yeah, it shows her, she was 33. She's serving 20 years after admitting to having relations with a 13-year-old student on multiple occasions. And then they post like updates of her. She changed her hair. She was blonde, now she's brown hair. Now they get push this article to you again. Talks about all the social classes she completed inside the prison. Then it goes into the lewd details. Another student served as a lookout. They were in the classroom. They got caught because the victim's parents noticed he was acting strange, leading them to install an app on his phone called Sentry Parental Control, which monitors messaging apps for suspicious content or behavior. Sentry app sends parents alerts when it detects suspicious images and messages on a child's device. It also detects whether or not a child is exposed to inappropriate online content through its web monitoring feature. When the teen's parents started getting alerts about inappropriate text messages, they confronted him and he admitted he was doing it. He was banging the teacher. He admitted it. Crazy. Like this little micro celebrity here. The messages turned romantic. X-rated. Yeah, I don't want to like get into all the details. I want to just show you how these articles are just showing like very explicit details. It's like a pornographic fetish, right? She told him she wanted to do that every day with no time limit. He replied, "I'm thinking about your sexy self. When can we F again?" He said. Show her damn phone. They show everything. This is her husband. This cuck right here. Dude got cucked by a middle schooler. Rest in peace, my man. Nasty work. Like, look at, I want to do this with you, blah, blah, blah. She told him she would quit her job in order for them to be together. See, now, like, you might think that would be cool for the student. You wouldn't care if it was your son and this and that, some people will say. But this is the type of thing where he's going to have a hard time now trusting relationships again in the future. On 2 occasions, she drove to his grandparents' home to do it with him in the car while her husband was fishing. Damn. Bro. See, look at it. It just goes like, I'll just highlight it. Like, it gets super graphic into what everything that's happening. Like, crazy. So this is like a genre. I think people look this up and follow it, or if you've clicked it, your phone knows you've clicked it, and then you get more and more and more of them. And then the media is compelled to like cover it more because that's how you get the clicks. She told police when she was arrested, she was nervous. She would not be able to survive behind bars. I'm little, they're going to tear me apart, she said. At her sentencing, she insisted she simply made a mistake and is a good person at heart. She was initially supported by her husband, but in 2020 she filed for divorce, stating the marriage was irretrievably broken. It's rough out here, guys. It's rough, bro. Yeah, it's twisted behavior, Schneider says. Bass Hackworth says, what a weird chick. I think psychologically some of it too is like what's interesting to me is like they know how to play the game. They know how to get with a man, right? They know what it takes to like close the deal, and then they're taking advantage of these kids. But I think part of it is like women always want to be like they want to be the most desirable in the room or whatever, or in the school in this case. Like you may not, like this person has to compete with all the younger girls, so she's able to kind of cuck all the younger girls. If she's able to take, the alpha chat or whatever from the class, then she's cucked every single one of the girls in the school. Like to her sick mind, that might be like the kind of game that she's playing. Like, oh, now I'm the alpha female because I banged the alpha male, even though he's super underage. You know what I mean? These people are sick, bro. It's the same thing. You got to apply the same standard. If it was a male, it'd be just as disgusting. Let me find the one where I closing some of these links. Yeah, this was the one, and I think she got she didn't get any crime time or any jail time, sorry, and she just got like some house arrest or something. She was 24, the dude was 14. Boy's aunt grew concerned seeing the teen in the company of a skimpily dressed adult. Later, the boy snitched. But yeah, I want to see her sentencing. I'm pretty sure it's just like 5 years probation or something like that. And the judge, the attorney said you can't place her in the women's state penitentiary to place an attractive woman in that kind of hellhole is like putting a piece of raw meat in with the lion. So the attorney basically his defense was she's too pretty to go into the prison. And yeah, she got, does this article even say? I'm pretty sure it was just like 5 years probation, but lifetime registered sex offender. Yeah, she's a registered sex offender required to check in with the state. Says she's very good-hearted, someone says. Yeah, right. And look at those eyes in this bottom one here. Oh, my head's over it. Hold on, let me move my webcam thing. Oh, now it switched back. Go back. Look at those cold, dead eyes right there. Can I make this big? Hold on. Dude, she looks like she would just kill someone. No remorse. And then in this one here, hold on. Look at those eyes. Vacant. These ones right here, looks like a predator. Some predator eyes right there. And these are the people that are drawn to like teach your kids, and you just trustingly put your kids in with these people all day. Beholder says, happened to a friend's son. At Skate and Destroy, can't keep a relationship for more than a week now as an adult, and is basically a male prostitute to cope. See, yeah, that's what I'm saying, bro. Like, I know a lot of people are like, oh, I wish that was me, bro, back when I was that age. Yeah, it's gonna create a huge trust issue when you're that young. I never had any kind of. I had one teacher that I thought maybe trying to talk to me a little bit, some Asian teacher or something. It's like weird. That was back then. Now these kids are like looking at pornography so young and everything. But back then I thought, yo, this is weird. And it might have been different if I was watching pornography since I was fucking 9 or whatever these kids do nowadays. So I know you guys, and maybe you didn't, maybe not everyone's always been here, but I talked about the story of I had a next door neighbor that lived across the street, and he was a former teacher, and he was like a stay-at-home dad at this point, but he was teaching at the high school, and he streams on YouTube here. He does all the, I can pull him up. He does all the weird, like those weird tranime games, like teacher to streamer. I don't know if I don't think I ever updated you guys, but he ended up moving actually, but I think because of he plays these weird little tranime games. These games are weird as hell. So this dude was a teacher at a public school and a high school. and he was sending his 7-year-old son, second grade son, over to play here in a dress. So he would send him to school in a girl's dress and then send him over here. So the first time it happened, like I was so shocked. He was just over for like a little bit. I didn't really know what to say. And then the second time it happened, I called the dad over right away, and I was just like, yeah, bro, he can't come over here like in a dress. I'm not down with that. And can't let my little boy see that. Stuff like that. And the dude totally freaked out on me. I've told the whole story before. How do I trying to see his he's got one where his wife puts him in. Oh yeah, it's this one. Look at the thumbnail. So this was my neighbor, yeah, literally across the street. He streams like this. His wife puts him in makeup. High school teacher. It's like he's drawn to that profession. To his whole YouTube channel is all about. Well, it's a Twitch channel, I guess, and he uploads the clips to YouTube. But his whole channel, he says he's all about like providing a safe space and this and that. And, you know, he doesn't have like a huge following or anything, but it seems like it's more about like, it's about the games, but it's more about the community of having safe space for people, you know, LGBTQ plus, whatever they call themselves nowadays. So he lets his wife just make him up on stream. Anyway, like, long story short, I called him out and said, this ain't a lot. I'm not going to allow this here, but he's said the boy's welcome to come over if he's just dressed normal. And this guy threw a fucking huge bitch fit. We got into a big fight, and not fist fight, but we were just yelling. When he left, I was like, bye, child predator. Bye, child predator. I was yelling it. And then he came back a couple days later and was like, we tried to squash it. And then he tried to like check me on saying, I'm calling him a child predator. And I was just like, I told him that too, but that was part of the conversation. I said, you know, weird people that want to do weird stuff to kids are drawn to those types of jobs of like teacher and stuff. I said, because you're sending your kid in there, like, you know, there's weird ass teachers there that are drawn to that look for those kind of kids to be victims. He said, well, I was a teacher and I just hit him with the but anyway, so we had gotten another argument that time, and that was basically it. He just stopped coming outside for a couple months, and then they sold their house and moved. So I don't know if that was related. And he told another neighbor that he moved to like another state. I almost wonder if when he moves, if he's gonna raise the boy as a girl, like not let the community know that it's actually a little boy. Raise him in girls' clothes and stuff. So this is the guy that's your teaching your high school kids. This dude, crazy shit, bro. But yeah, that was the update on that. The dude basically just moved. But his house is still for sale. So I guess they didn't even sell it, but it's like for sale, and they were able to move. This is crazy shit. Rocky Horror. But that's what I was saying. Like, if you're a teacher, why is he sending his son to the school? Why wouldn't you like homeschool the son? Because he was already home with the younger daughter. He was staying home with the younger, like 2-year-old daughter. So why wouldn't he just be, if he's the teacher, why wouldn't he keep the son home and teach the son? Well, because of these people, I don't think he actively thinks this, but they want to like infect the whole community with this mind virus thing. So he's got to put the kid in school to infect the other kids, because he's not actively out there right now in the schools, like teaching or teaching kids, reinforcing these ideas to other kids and spreading that mind virus to other people. So these are the types of people that are, now obviously not all people, but that are teachers are like this, but lots of these types of people are drawn to teaching. And I definitely don't think it's they're not consciously thinking, well, let me teach these kids woke ideology. I'm going to dedicate my entire career to this low-paying job so I can indoctrinate another generation with woke ideology. I think it is something subconsciously, though, that motivates them and drives them to do it. Thanks to everyone that's here. I got 76 in the chat, man. If you guys could hit that thumbs up, I would appreciate that. I want to pull up one more thing before I get into the next thing I want to talk about. You guys go to my channel, you can, I don't know how it looks on your page, but you can post now. I have like a community. Oh, how do I see it on here? I don't know how to see it on a desktop. I know how to see it on the phone. You just go to my homepage and there'll be a community button. And then you can go in there and, oh man, I wanted to show the Yellowhammer had the rider shirt. This is a shirt you can get right here. Go to my posts. I'll drop this link in the chat. That's the new shirt I got out. I got a couple new ones I got planned. Oh, it's too long of a link. What? Oh, hold on. Copied the link wrong. My bad. Ad break. There's that link in the chat if you're watching it later. $14 tees right now. I think I only make like $1, maybe even like 50 cents, but I really don't care. It's just get my art out there. But yeah, if you want to support the channel, that's where you can, or PayPal, Cash App, Venmo, Get Chalked Up, or anytime, obviously, super chat, super sticker is much appreciated. Now back to your show. I mean, I can go back here to, where's the, yeah, this is where I was just looking for, before I move on, I'll do this one more thing here. This was where I was just looking for mugshots for the thumbnail. You just type this in, and I mean, each one of these is an article that gets into what I kind of showed before. The Daily Mail is probably a little more rude, but some of these do go into that as well. Each one of these is like a little spank bank story or something for these fetish perverts to get into. But there's just so much of this. There's got to be an agenda to it, right? And is it all real? I definitely I would say a lot of it is real, but I wonder if any of it is just completely made up just for like the propaganda, just to push, just to push the normalization of this same type of thing. Or I'm sorry, Charles in the chat threw down $5. Charles says, remember that your children are not your own, but they are lent to you by the Creator. Mohawk, early morning, good night. Appreciate you. It's crazy. This lady looks crazy right here. Teacher was crying in her classroom soon after. Oh, a student saw her crying in the classroom soon after they started banging. A Florida middle school teacher. It's crazy. 36 years old. Began a sexual and romantic relationship. Saw her crying. They started messaging each other, flirting. Student said he and the teacher went to a local movie theater, but never made it inside, and instead talked and made out. Oh, look at that, man. They're not sending their best. Crazy. She's choosing to represent herself in the case, according to court records. It's not going to end well. In addition, student provided police with pictures of himself with Mattson, including shirtless photos of the victim with Mattson embracing him, as well as kissing. Insane, bro. Way too many. They're closing some. Okay, and then what I wanted to look up was like, why are more liberals drawn to teaching? Like, it seems like more and more liberals. And actually, this Yahoo AI is kind of based, bro. The Yahoo one basically says here that they do want to infect other people with their ideology. That's basically what it says if you read it. They prioritize equity and social justice. Teaching allows them to advocate for marginalized groups and foster inclusive environments. That's exactly what that dude was saying, like with his YouTube channel or his Twitch channel. The gamer neighbor dude, he said he was all trying to have that environment, like a safe space for these people. Yeah, desire to influence future generations. So subconsciously, they want to do all this. And I was saying it's like, I don't know how to say this word.
Proselytizer.
They're proselytizers. That's how you say it.
Proselytizer.
Proselytizer. They're basically like these street preachers you see out here. Like a street preacher goes out and goes to a No Kings rally or whatever. Or he goes to a pride parade and is preaching on the street. These teachers are almost the exact same thing, but I don't think they're consciously making that effort. It's almost like they're being led by a demon or Satan himself, Satan's hand or whatever, to lead them into because it's a totally different thing where a street preacher goes in and tries to talk to an adult and convince an adult they're doing the wrong thing. These people are trying to subtly groom impressionable minds and lead them down the wrong path. Maybe totally subconsciously or unbeknownst to them. I'm sure they have good intentions. They think they're gonna be helping people. Probably their initial like motivation to get into it. Then I found this article, and it's super long, but I started reading it. This is kind of funny to me. I started reading this article. It's by a liberal, but he's pretty objective about what it's going into. So it was so long that I just put it in the AI. To kind of summarize it. But they're saying in this article, there's a second part to this that I want to get into after I kind of go through these key points from that article. The author argues growing liberalism among highly educated Americans is driven by elite overproduction, too many qualified people competing for too few prestigious positions. Basically, what the whole article is basically saying is these people that go to school, they get educated, there's not as many jobs and stuff for the number of applicants there is. And so what they do is they try to outcompete each other with like for their values, like, oh, you're against abortion, like, well, we should criminalize anyone speaking against, but they were trying to like one up each other in their social justice standing because they can't. They're just in like a competition with each other, basically. Like you missed it last night on the backup channel. Make sure you go subscribe. I went into that guy called San Francisco Truth's channel, and he was on the same thing. You see it in these same truther circles that we all run into. It's like, no, I'm the guru. No, you're not the guru. I'm the guru. He was on that same shit. Roshalo's in here right now. Roshalo says he's the guru. Roshalo will tell you right now, he's like, I'm the guru. You're not the guru. I'm the fucking guru. And that's the same kind of thing. Like, oh, you're not social justice enough. I'm way more about social justice than you. And they have like some legitimate concerns and stuff, but then they take it to like a fucking cartoon reality that you see playing out on the TV. And that's why I really wanted to talk about this, because like when you see these people come from other countries, they come here and they cite like the schooling system specifically as one of the reasons why they want their children to grow up here and they want their kids to go through the schooling system but then when you look at what the schooling system produces, it produces all these people that you saw in these LA riots or the Minnesota riots, the George Floyd riots, any of these types of things that are happening out here in the streets, they're all being cranked out by these schools. But then according to the liberals, like there's not enough money dedicated to the schools. If you could just pour some more money into it, like it could get fixed. These kids can't read. They're not passing, basic reading tests and stuff like that in inner cities. But they somehow think, if you just pay these teachers more and dump more money into it, somehow it's all going to fix itself. But you could even dump 100% of the budget of a state into teaching, and they'd still want more. I have 100% of the budget. It's still not enough. We need more money for these more students, for more learning, more of this. I'm interested to see what Southern says because she is or was a teacher. And I had a conversation with her about that before. It was very interesting about like the kids thinking they're trans and everything. She says it's like most positions, there's good and the bad, but teachers should be held to a higher standard of morality, and we've lost that as a standard. So now you get infiltrated by immorality. Yeah, totally right. What's up, Rochlo? We got a resident Spurg in the chat here tonight. Just a Rochlo reveal. Riley says cam up, Southern. Dr. Dave's hating on Jurassic. Jurassic's my guy, bro. It's next year though, for sure. 10 million %. 611 next year. And then Southern, also the teacher, she says money doesn't fix an immoral culture. Exactly. They just think I don't even know what they think. They just want more money for themselves, really is what it is. But that article that I put in the AI, and there's a reason I'm going through this AI. I'm going to go through a little bit of it, and then I'm going to show you why I'm going through that. Between 1994 and the time the article was written, which I think was 2019, the percentage of postgraduates who are consistently liberal jumped from 7% to 31%. Like, that's a massive percent. It's like a 25% increase in one generation, right? Like, that's unreal. While those with high school education or less remained steady at 5%. It's a 25-point gap that didn't exist a generation ago. The theory connects several. Okay, wait. The main theory is elite overproduction, too many qualified people competing for too few prestigious positions, leading to intensified social signaling within professional circles. So they got to prove they're more liberated from the system. They're liberal because they're liberated from the traditions and norms of society. There's some guy, Jonathan Haidt's research. The author explained liberals prioritize individualizing moral foundations such as preventing harm and ensuring fairness, while conservatives value both individualizing and binding foundations, authority, loyalty, purity. See, that's what they're liberated from. They're liberated from these loyalties and these traditions and everything. They got to prove that to you by being cutting the cord more and more from those base values. Economic structure, professional work requires autonomy and independent decision-making, naturally selecting more individualistic people, while working class jobs often require deference to authority and following rules. So like the white collar jobs, you need to not have a kid. You need to be able to fly for a meeting across the country at the drop of a dime and everything like that, where a guy with a family wouldn't be able to do. Economic inequality has increased since 1980. Competition for elite positions has intensified. It creates pressure to signal membership in the professional class through increasingly liberal moral positions. The author suggests expressing highly individualistic, autonomy-focused moral views has become a way to credibly signal freedom from binding social obligations such as family, religions, and community ties that might interfere with professional mobility. They got to let you know, yeah, I'm not here tied down by family. I'm a transgender lesbian in a wheelchair. I'm ready to go anywhere, anytime, wherever you tell me to go for the company. Since gut moral intuitions are hard to fake, they serve as a reliable status indicator. This dynamic creates a purity spiral where liberal positions become increasingly extreme as people compete to demonstrate their liberation from traditional constraints. And that leads to populist backlash and political polarization. But then that article that this thing's quoting says economic inequality and not ideological shifts is the root cause of moral and political divergence between educated and less educated Americans. Okay. One more comment here from Southern, since she's the teacher. She says, my mom was a teacher when funding was substantially less, made no difference, even less so, because of the fact of moral decay. And shoving kids into education seemed to be the end-all, be-all. Politicians hoped it would be a solution. Well, then you also get this entire generation of kids raised on like iPad babies. And the fatigue culture. Add the fatigue culture in there. Like, it's a fucking hodgepodge of a shit show. So what I thought was crazy is, dude, when I put this just to see what it would do, because I really haven't even had time to mess with these AIs that much. This is kind of the most I'll do, like ask for like a summary of something. I said reformat these ideas from this. It's just a website page, an article. Reformat these ideas into a live stream script, bro. and it creates an entire fucking script. This is what you see on YouTube all the time. So this is kind of a sidebar from what I was getting into here. This is just crazy to me. You could read this whole thing, and it's just like a pre-made live stream for you. And this is what you see. This is what all of YouTube's saturated with right here. Opening hook, a casual tone directly in the camera. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the stream. Before we dive in today, I want to talk about something that's been on my mind lately, and probably yours too if you've been following politics lately. You notice how there seems to be this massive divide between college-educated people and everyone else when it comes to politics? Like, it feels like if you went to university, you're almost guaranteed to be liberal, and if you didn't, you're more likely to be conservative. Check this out. Like, it writes this whole fucking script with, like, check this shit out, everything. It says, so what the hell is going on? Like, this sounds like every video I watch out here, bro. Like, this, the way it's worded and everything. I guarantee this is what everyone's doing. They just put an article in a chat bot and fucking say convert it to a live stream or a YouTube video, and that's what it does. And this sounds like everything. So a couple of things happen when this happens, in my opinion. This is created by the AI, so this is recognized by the AI. So I think if you were to create this video right here in this script, if you were to create this, I think it would get pushed by the algorithm because it's created by an algorithm. So it's what the algorithm recognizes. It's going to know exactly what it is and what your points you're trying to make, and it's formatted the way that the algorithm would understand formats. And I think it would push you out, bro. And so a couple. Heart of Aries says, Drew, you sound like you're doing an impression of Sam Hyde, doing an impression. This is just crazy to me, like the way it says, what the hell is going on? It tells you, like, yo, if you go down in here, it's like, it'll say, make sure you smash the like and everything. It puts that in here. So the whole thing, you don't have to think, bro. You just copy and paste in here. I think a couple things are going to happen with this. I think in the short term, as these things kind of grow in the immediate future, more and more people are going to use this, and eventually you're going to have the homogenization of every single video, which it's already kind of getting there. But I think that's actually good for somebody like me. While there's people in the world right now that have actually interacted with real people, you grew up with friends and doing stuff outside, I think people will recognize that a person like me or EBT or somebody, we're not reading a script. We're out here, we're speaking from the heart. We're talking the way a real person would talk to another real person. I think that would help a regular person stand out more, a person that's well socialized. Is that the abundance of this type of material, I think in the short term will help a regular person stand out more, because it's such a vast difference from the way I'm going to talk or EBT is going to talk, whatever, versus all these kids that are going to do this and put this out. However, I think in the super long term, when kids grow up and only know this, and they grow up an entire generation watching videos like this, then the people that are able to talk normal, it's going to seem so weird and foreign to them. They're not even going to know. There's these now multiple generations of kids that haven't grown up outside or socializing or even leaving their house. Everything's Uber Eats. It's all brought to you. You work from home. Everything, right? I don't know. I just thought that's the reason I wanted to show this thing here. It's just like insane to me, like how it's got like, yeah, pause for chat interaction. Chat, let me know, does this ring true for your experience? Have you noticed this pattern in your own work or life? Look at get animated. This is the big reveal. Okay, here's where it gets really interesting. There's this concept called elite overproduction. Basically, what happens when you have too many qualified people chasing too few elite positions. Think about it like musical chairs, but the music keeps playing longer and longer. There are fewer and fewer chairs each round. Everybody's scrambling to prove they deserve. I can see the like jump cuts in the video. Like every time you switch from one of these, like the camera's going back and forth and everything. Crazy. Since 1980, this is fucking nuts, bro. Think about it this way. If you want to prove you're rich, you don't just tell people you have money, you buy expensive things. Well, more intuition works the same way. They're emotional, automatic responses that are really hard to fake convincingly, so they become the perfect signals of who you really are. But here's where it gets really wild. Increase energy, it says. This is getting intense. Look at this. Writes this whole thing. You're 35 minutes in. It tells you exactly how long. It wipes your ass for you. Yeah, Snow says creativity will be almost extinct, just like when we used to know 40 phone numbers and now we don't even know our own phone number. They're taking away creativity now. 100%. I'd say the phone number thing is memory, but that's also under attack. Memorization is under attack. But the creativity as well, that's what's going to happen with these AIs. So, like I was saying, in the short term, as the AI floods the market, I think it'll be a net positive for artists in the, maybe not in the immediate near future, because it's so easy to just use the AI. People will go to that. But once people get sick of seeing the oversaturation of that, then the artist will become more valuable in the near future, not the immediate future, in the near future. But then again, after another whatever it is, 15, 20 more years, when it's nothing but AI, then the artist will almost be extinct, because these people they've never seen it, so they won't even be able to recognize like a super artistic original vision, a one of one. They've never seen it, so to them it'll be super weird. You look at something called drain aesthetic, it just looks fucking like an AI type style that it makes. It's just awful looking. But that's what an actual thing will look like to these people raised on AI. Like a beautiful piece of art will look like something horrific to them because they've never seen it. Look at this. It brings you all the way out. All right, that was a lot to digest. I know this theory doesn't explain everything, and there are definitely other factors at play. I want to hear what you think. Does this ring true to your experience? I'm going to take questions. This is fucking nuts. Drop your thoughts in the chat. Smash that like button if this made you think. Let's have a conversation about it. This is exactly the type of thing we need to be talking about more openly. Is this what that Penguins dude does? It sounds like a Penguins video. And then he just adds some like crude jokes in here and there. Guarantee this is what Penguins is doing. Okay, so Southern has retired from teaching, she said. Well, I can see why. And Southern also said, when we die out, then what? There's no originality, no free thought, no real emotion, nothing. They already have that black pill perspective. Well, the school ain't going to teach you nothing. We just met this like homeschool mom, and she said the moment she realized she had to homeschool her kids is she sent her son to, I think it was, kindergarten. And the son went to kindergarten school, and he had 15 minutes of outside recess, but they gave him an hour's worth of computer time. So they gave him an hour computer class in front of a screen, but he only got to go outside for 15 minutes. And she was like, nope, she yanked the kid. So she was a teacher, actually. So then she did what I was wondering why the neighbor guy didn't do. She pulled her kid out then and stayed home with him and teaching him. Now it's had more kids and is raising them all homeschool. Because they're putting, what's a kindergartner, 5 years old or something? Putting them out on a computer for an hour and outside for 15 minutes. Kids need to be like experiencing things, running around, moving. Even when I was a kid, I feel like we got way more time than that outside. Even in the winter, bro. I'm in Minnesota. They would throw us out in that cold ass outside for a long ass time. It felt like it, at least. Oh. Okay, that was that. I thought that was crazy, though. The more and more libs, my take on it is they're just controlled by a satanic or demonic force. That's why they're drawn into it. And they want summers off. Kill that link. Kill that link. Kill that link. How do you say this again?
Proselytizer.
They're proselytizers. There we go. Yeah, type this into Yandex. Don't type this shit into Yandex, bro. It was showing me some crazy shit. Trying to find some different links. More and more of these. Trying teacher. Closing hundreds of these damn links. Hold on a second. Add, I guess. Add. Sorry, I have so many links open. It's taking forever. There's my thumbnail. My thummy. There we go. All right. Buy your shirt. Liberals are teachers. Covered that. Yeah. Teachers sleeping around. Okay, and then this is what I wanted to bring it into. The last thing I wanted to bring it into was you guys, and I know Dave's covered this on his thing. I didn't see the whole thing, but I know he was talking about this. So where does this all lead, right? Eventually, they're already pushing it out here now. It's going to lead to AI teachers. They already did the COVID school from home, online Zoom class school and everything. And now they have this Texas private school using AI to teach. So these are going to be the things used to push AI into the public acceptance. I think things like this, teaching and connecting and actually having measurable data of student scores being raised by AI. I think another area you will see AI being used will be sports. If you watch the NBA at all, you see that guy that won the MVP this year, Shai Alexander, whatever his name is, SGA they call him. The guy just falls on the floor, nobody touches him, and he gets a foul every time. So I think the day's coming real soon where you're going to see AI implemented into sports refereeing, and that's going to prevent all these like flopping and stuff like that, because there's a big outcry about it. And I think you can see that incorporated in there, and that's another way they're going to get the public to accept and clamor for artificial intelligence. But this is in Texas here, and it says that they're bringing their children's scores way up by using AI.
We all know this. AI is fast moving, right? Well, it's now looped into most of our everyday tech, jobs, now education. And one Texas school is ditching traditional teaching methods and instead using AI-powered software to teach students core subjects in as little as 2 hours a day. Alpha School's Brownsville campus is a private pre-K through 8th grade school. Its leaders say they have seen the benefits of this model firsthand, with the goal being for students to learn faster and have more freedom to learn life skills like public speaking, for example. The bold model is gaining traction just as President Trump signs a sweeping executive order to put AI in every classroom across America. Joining us now to break it all down.
Yeah, that's a big part of Trump's cabinet is AI and big tech across the board.
Explain how this model really works is Mackenzie Price, co-founder of Alpha Schools. Mackenzie, good morning to you. Thanks for being here.
Good morning. Thank you for having me. I will tell you, you've got a little one who's toddling around the house. There's never been a more exciting time to be a one-year-old because education is being transformed through AI, and it is exciting.
I know. We were just talking about that in break. My daughter's about to turn 1, and I can't imagine all that that's going to be the new normal for her that I didn't have in the 90s and early 2000s.
90s, damn bitch, you're old. Fucking went to school in the 90s.
Walk us through a typical day for a student at Alpha. I mean, 2 hours of classroom instruction. How does this work?
Yeah, what we're really doing is using artificial intelligence to raise human intelligence. So our students are able to get personalized learning that meets every single kid exactly where they need to be met. And they do that in 2 hours. So
She's a crazy cat lady. You see that cat lurking back there?
all our core subjects are done by lunchtime, and then that frees up the rest of the day for us to focus on life skills like storytelling and financial literacy and leadership and teamwork. We've also transformed the role of the teacher in our classroom so that our teachers get to focus on motivational and emotional support and mentoring kids.
And not banging the students anymore. Now they're going to motivate them. AI is going to make sure that they ain't banging them no more.
So it makes for such a fun experience for our kids. They're getting to learn how to use AI tools to do things like research animals, and then they build dioramas, and they're learning how to do prompt exercises for AI by writing instructions for their guide or their teacher to be able to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, for example. These are skills that kids need to have to be successful in the world. We make it really fun.
What do you say to the critics?
We make it fun to teach this kid how to summon Uber Eats. We teach them how to press that button on the phone.
So who are saying, okay, say my child's at Alpha and they're not grasping a certain concept and the rest of the class is moving ahead. That's where you think of a traditional teacher stepping in and really tailoring, to my child. How does AI do that?
Yeah, well, see, Marky, that's the exact difference. In our schools, when every student has their own one-to-one tutor, there's no such thing as the class moving ahead and the child getting left behind. We're able to meet every single kid exactly where they are. So that 5th grade student who might come to us, maybe missing some gaps from 4th or 3rd grade, we can go and fill those gaps in. And then that 5th grade student who is farther ahead and should be doing 6th or 7th grade work, they can do that. The beauty of this model is that every single student is getting exactly the personalized learning that is at their pace and at their level. That's why our students are able to score so well and be so successful, because they're truly receiving mastery-based learning that meets them where they are. As a result, kids develop competence, and that leads to confidence. When you understand the math you're doing, you kind of like doing math.
Yeah.
So the gamification of even schooling now, through an AI, through a tablet and everything. So what's the point of the teacher then? What's the point of even sending them to the school? Couldn't they just do this at home? I guess you'd need the parent home, because the schools, let's be honest, the school's the daycare, right? Being used now to pump out Marxist ideologies, and you see it manifesting as riots in the street. So I don't know why you wouldn't just keep your kid home, homeschool, and let them just take their classes, the AI class or whatever, online.
I literally have like 15 seconds left. There have to be concerns around data privacy, surveillance. How do you kind of calm those fears from parents?
Certainly. There's always concerns around a new technology, but this is just like the internet coming 20 years ago. It's time to embrace it and teach children and families how to use AI well to help us thrive.
Thank you for watching.
I mean, what's the AI doing, right? Like, to me, the AI, all I see it do is like aggregating the information fastly and spitting it out kind of in a cohesive, bullet points. It's just Google on steroids. It's not these stupid unfounded fears that people have. It's, AI is going to take over the world and AI is going to become smarter than a human. I don't see anything like that at all. It's unable to operate outside of its program parameters. But just like these humans too, that have these biases built into them, they're not able to get outside of their own program. It's really hard for the human being to deprogram. Snow says it's good you pay attention to all the stuff. CBO's hashtag good dad. Southern says teachers are there to teach basic life skills the parents never learned. She's raging now. You got replaced by a robot, Southern.
Watching. Subscribe below and download our News Nation.
Cuomo the what?
Artificial intelligence, AI, is transforming education in the U.S. by boosting teacher efficiency and improving work-life balance. Tools like ChatGPT assist educators in creating lesson plans, grading, and managing administrative tasks.
No, it does the whole shit for you, just like you saw the live stream. I said, make this article into a live stream. Made a fucking 50-minute live stream. I could just sit and read. You don't have to have a genuine thought. You don't even have to like internalize the idea and understand it yourself. You just read a script. No different than mainstream media, right? They're just reading. The newscasters reading a script. They're not an investigative journalist or anything. They read a script to you. They read a teleprompter and then they say, bang, ding, ow, something, wong. They don't even realize what the hell they're saying.
Saving about 6 hours per week and reducing burnout. In 2023, around 60% of K-12 public school teachers, especially younger and high school instructors, used AI. AI also enhances student engagement by providing personalized materials and tailored feedback to accommodate diverse learning styles.
Bam, Southern in the chat again with her teacher's perspective says, AI teaching kids this much means they're learning how to be human from machines incapable of human emotion. What can go wrong? Bam, exactly right. Just like these kids were, man, after COVID, I remember bringing our kids to the playground. And this guy was like, well, after COVID, this guy had his kids there and the kids were wearing a mask. The guy was wearing a mask and he said, this is their first time playing in 2 years. The kids didn't even know what to do. It was like two little girls. They didn't even know how to interact anymore. They were like maybe, I don't know, like 4 years old. The dude kept them inside for like 2 years, and they didn't know how to do anything anymore. So they're losing those skills. They're going to lose the human emotion, all this stuff. Pure robotic merged with a machine base. This is the transhumanism. It doesn't have to be the Neuralink chip in your head. You just rely so much on the assistance of the machine. You can't think for yourself. You can't memorize anything for yourself. You can't create anything for yourself. AI is going to do it all for you. So now the schools, which are cranking out the Marxist ideology students, now they're going to be cranking out the tech-dependent AI thing. Is going to be a complete reform, and that's what Trump's there for. I think Trump is there implementing the AI agenda, and he's taking over the schools, challenging that. And that's going to all be burnt down and rebuilt into this new AI infrastructure that he's building. And that's all I got, my friends. After working 3 hours, see if I make it. I'm burning both ends of the candle here. You know why? Because it's the summer of Drew, damn it. I'm going hard in the paint. Davy Crocco even left you, brother. Rest in peace. Good boy, Davey. Everybody else left you. I'm still here for you. I'll be back again soon, most likely tomorrow night. Let's go on that backup channel, probably. We'll do a Rochelo Reveals channel review or something. We'll see. I haven't thought it through yet. Got a few other streams planned, so I like being in the hot seat where I gotta constantly produce and constantly think of a new idea. It's just hard to fit it into the schedule that I have. So I'm gonna be back as much as I can be. Look for me tomorrow night. I will be here. I appreciate everyone's time. Christ is King. Peace out.
Make America great again.
Make America great again. Make America great again. Make America great again.
And yes, together we will make America great again.